Can we bring SEXSPEC back? Stay tuned. Yeah?
This is what I need you to do.
Oh, he's already talking. Evening, fam, and welcome back to Dirty Laundry. Guess who's back? Back again.
It's twice in a row.
Baby brother's back. And he bought some drinks. Thank you very much for dropping by today. I really appreciate it.
That's all right.
No
problem.
Yeah, no, seriously. First of all, happy Monday. Yeah, it is Monday, right?
Yeah.
Happy Monday. It's an interesting topic today. And I think the reason why it may get uncomfortable, and I think it's going to be uncomfortable in a positive way, is because when we were talking about what we wanted to talk about today, we kind of went, fuck, that's a lot of money. What we want to talk about today is the automotive car scene, specifically the one that was made famous in the late 80s, early 90s,
Late 90s, early 2000s.
early 2000s, and it's I want to bring it back. Baby brother wants to bring it back, and it is SEXSPEC.
Bring SEXSPEC back.
Bring SEXSPEC back. So, just to give you a bit of a background, I think Baby Brother can give you a bit of a rundown on what your idea of SEXSPEC was. How about just not what you've done, but like when someone says SEXSPEC, what does it? How do you interpret that?
So someone has put a house deposit on a car to make it look awesome. Make it look dumb, but make it look awesome. From crazy color interior, from wild paint jobs, airbrush the works, like top to bottom, the car has been touched. And when I mean house loan, I mean like
Deposit, yeah.
2000s, back in the day, like 50, 70 grand. Yeah, what a time.
See, I just got chills down my spine because number one, I know Dad watches this, right? And if Dad ever found out how much money or what we went through,
It's not about the money, it's about the experience.
keep telling yourself.
And the experience cost a lot of money. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do you want to drop a hint?
No.
No?
No.
I think Dad knows.
Yeah, but we just won't say.
We're just well, the reason why
I was young. I was between 18 to 21. That's where all my money went.
is there a reason why we wanted to talk about SEXSPEC and why we want to bring it back, why we want to see the automotive car scene just erupt again? Like, why?
I think it's just about like kind of bringing joy. I think that's what it was. And that's when I started it. It was like, what was it, like 2004? I think I got my license 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
That's just when that was. I think we were in the like Fast and Furious franchise phase. I think the first movie had just come out.
When
I think
did
it was
the
like
first
2001. Fast and Furious. I think it was 2001.
2001.
Yeah,
First one.
the first one. I'm pretty sure. And just that was a huge stepping stone to what I ended up eventually doing, as soon as I finished school, I was working. I could apply for a loan. You handed down the car to me. That's what it was.
I did.
Yeah. So you had the car done all up.
It was a hand-me-down car.
You had the car all done up. You know, if any like, you know, Scotty Jackson or Craig are watching this, they're just gonna remember everything.
Shopping trolley.
You had to have the flashiest car, shopping trolley.
If I find
when I got my P's, you handed me the car, and then 3 years later, I literally changed the whole car. Nothing that you did was there.
How much did we know about cars back then?
Nothing.
It truly was nothing.
You could have told me something, and I would have believed you.
Yeah.
That's how it was. But it was all. Fast and Furious was a massive influence. You know, we had our older cousin Francis. He was into that as well.
Yeah. That's
so
right.
how I got into it was from you and Francis. That was kind of
Yeah, thanks.
they were your two main influences, and then obviously movies, and then you know when you go to car shows, you know that was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, a weekend car show. You know, you go to every state. And then at the end of it, Sydney final battle, you have a winner. Oh, it's just awesome. Like, and I miss that stuff. Like we have hot import nights now, but it's just like a 1-day event. Like I think we did 3 shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did 3 or 4 shows.
Yeah.
Where I loved it. Friday night, you got in.
That's right. You had to do your prep.
To do your setup and all that stuff.
You got a little car space that you had to pay for.
And you know, you get a sneak peek of all the other cars that's there.
Yeah.
And then you get up Saturday morning, you go there, you spend 10 hours, the whole show, come home, sleep. Sunday,
Go
10
back.
hours, and go back. And that's how it was. And probably the best thing about that was everyone driving out when it finished.
We'll get back to because I'm sure.
Sorry.
I'm sure we'll find some footage. I'm hoping we can find some footage. Yeah.
I hope so.
Here's a big question, right? Why do you believe the automotive industry, and I'm told not cars in general, right? Because they're going to be making cars, so forth and so forth. But the whole, hey, I want to show off my car and modify my car and just go nuts. Why do you think that's died on its ass here in Australia?
I think the laws kind of came down pretty hard.
Yeah.
Anyone in this age group knows that the weekends were cruising Parramatta Road, cruising into the city, and that's why
Parramatta Road.
That's why I believe there was a high target for the cops for modified cars and illegal stuff done to it, and to not put a knock on cops, but it was they had to make quota.
Whoa, wait.
So that's where I feel like. Lucky enough for me, I never got pulled over. I never got defected. That was the one thing that I was happy about. That when I built my car, never got pulled over, never got defected. It was clean. It was legal.
Yeah.
It was my daily driver.
It was your daily driver.
Yeah, that's the important bit. Because it was my daily, I couldn't do stupid stuff to it.
Yeah.
But I made it enough for me to stand out.
What I'd love to do is look, probably throughout in post-production of this podcast anyway, I'll probably put up some very, very iconic SEXSPEC
cars. Yeah, for sure.
Heaps. Yeah, because there are people, and if you are watching the SEXSPEC community, there are people who these guys have, like I said, they've become icons. Like you see it, and you know the license plate off by heart. You know what's been done to the car. In some cases, you know how much money has been spent on the car because it was always displayed on a plaque.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
But what it was is you didn't know, you didn't need to personally know the person. You just needed to know the plates. The plates was the person. It's like, you're not the guy who drives the WRX. You're the guy who's you know, White Knight, you know, by the way, yeah. So
Is White Knight listening? Probably.
maybe he drives R34 now.
Oh, there it is.
See,
All
it's
right.
just- see these plates that you remember that, you know, it's like almost what 14 years ago, 15 years
Probably
ago.
longer.
And like, you know, the plates still survive, they still live on, but they're just on better cars now. So but that's what it was.
Earlier, we were rattling off some of your most famous makes and models that people picked to do SEXSPEC on.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say if you had to name 5 right off the top of your head, go for it.
100%. Your budget SEXSPEC car was a Lancer, a Pulsar, or a Civic.
Okay, so the Lancer, Pulsar, Civic.
Yeah, they were your kind of brand new,
Yeah.
a couple years old. You know, back then you buy a Lancer for what, 10-15 grand. Now you pick it up for like $1,500. You know, it's just, but Lancer, Pulsar, Civic.
Yeah.
And then your really big ones, oh, there's heaps. There's more than, if I have to name more than 5, it's, you had your big players. So you had like, you know, your brand new WRX, like the 2000s WRX, the bug-eyed, I believe, or the GC8, that was still kind of popular.
Yeah, 98, model 99.
I think S15s were probably like 2 or 3 years old.
That was your expensive.
Yeah, that's it. So your expensive guys were your S15s, your FDs, what else? Obviously, like your Supras.
Fucking, who can forget the Supras?
And the budget one, sorry, the Celica. Celica was another budget one.
That's right, the Celica.
Corolla, Pulsar, Civic, Lancer, and Celica.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. But when I mean budget, I don't mean like they haven't put money to it. Like they've. It's like saying now if I buy a Lancer for $1,500 and then put 10 grand on it. You know.
That's true.
That's how it was.
Well, see, because back in those days, like I was, not many people know, but I used to be a banker, right? And the whole thing with personal loans was the average debt for someone under the age of 25.
You want to give away how much I spent? Don't say.
Well, the average debt anyway was around 50,000. Okay. Now, when you were to take out an unsecured personal loan back in those days, the maximum they would give somebody is 50K. Now, this is, I'm not saying that you spent 50K. I know you didn't. All I know is when I was processing personal loans, believe you me, the amount of people who just was like, what's the max I can borrow? Because back in the day, what was a decent paint job? What was that worth?
Oh,
Like decent.
depends. Like a flat.
Yeah, just
Like a one color paint job.
one color. No airbrushing.
You're probably spending still maybe like 4 or 5K, easy. 4 or 5K with like a
Then you put a glitter or pearl.
2 or 3 coats plus 3 coats of clear. Yeah, it was huge.
Well,
It was huge. That industry was banking. You know?
Well, one of the, I think, and I do want to mention him here because, I've met this gentleman a couple of times. I went to school with his daughter.
Yes.
All right. And he is still in business today, but he was super iconic back in the day. Mr. Wayne Harrison.
Killing it. Advanced airbrush.
Advanced airbrush.
Killed it.
Because airbrushing was the shit back in SEXSPEC.
Airbrush took you above SEXSPEC. And you can only assume that every single airbrush car you saw there was done by him.
It was done by him?
Almost like every single car was done by him. And mind you, these places hold like 300-400 cars.
Yeah.
So that's a huge call out for him.
Don't get me wrong, there were other airbrushes out there,
There
right?
were.
But it's kind of if you wanted to stand out, you go to Wayne Harrison.
That's right.
Right? Advanced airbrush. And they were a local, Minchinbury.
That's right.
All right, beautiful. Well, I think I did just want to talk about these laws that unfortunately a lot of people were breaking, and it's probably a reason why you can't have sex spec now, or maybe people's change.
That's why it's changed from SEXSPEC to like.
What is it now? Got stance.
No,
JDM.
I think it's JDM. JDM is really big right now. Like less is more kind of thing.
Yeah.
You'd spend less on the outside and put all the money on your engine bay.
On the engine.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
That's what it is, I think.
Do you think there's a link between the type of car people that, let's say, modified to their personality? Like, was there a specific?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like, without stereotyping. I mean, we're philo. At least I know. Right? Was there a cars that only philos did? Like, you see a guy, yeah, he's probably philo. The Lebanese had.
There was a lot of Lancers, really. It was if you don't do philos, if you do Asians,
Yeah.
it was, your Civics.
Civics.
It was all your cheap cars. Your Civics, your Lancers.
We're gonna get slapped
your
for this.
Pulsars. I mean, that's how it was. And then different ethnicity. Yeah. Like they're your WRXs, even your BMWs. Like there was some.
That's right.
It was like what was it like a
Queen Street.
Yeah.
Queen Street
So
had
it's huge.
BMWs as well.
So, and that's so like it was good. I loved it. Like that was like every car that was done, like that WRX wagon, that was mental.
Is that Osmonds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Osmonds. Sorry, not Queen Street, but yeah, that was mental. Like it was stupidly good.
Yeah.
Like it's just you don't see that.
Well, let's not forget our Aussie friends out there, because I remember some of the more iconic V8s.
There was heaps of like
the Commodores
and all that stuff. It was, I don't know. To me, I felt like the Commodore was trying to come into the SEXSPEC because again, it was very Jap. The vehicles were very Japanese.
Japanese, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough.
If any, you probably had Japanese and then Australian and then European. That's I think I felt how it went.
What do you, in your opinion, what was the must-do mod? If you had to pick two, the must-do mod that would take your car to a SEXSPEC level.
10 interior, top to bottom. 10, everyone knows, 10 dash, 10 seats, 10 carpet, 10 seat belts. 10 interior. That was like...
Would 10 interior fly today?
Probably not. No.
So what's the second one? 10 interior. Oh shit.
10 interior.
If I had to pick, for me, the must had was neon lights.
Yeah. Lights.
Or
that was very Need for Speed Underground, and that was in that era as well. That was in that era. So
as our American friends would like to underglow.
Underglow. Yeah.
Underglow. Right.
But 100%. Like lights and interior was like a must.
Lights and interior.
Yeah.
The
interior is like already 15 grand.
Yeah.
And then you spend $400 on lights. Like it.
The motor itself, like it wasn't, unless you were an elite, because there were different levels, like you were saying, different levels of show car or SEXSPEC cars.
Yeah.
But the ones who were classified as your elite, they, like you said, they did everything. I'm talking the motor as well. Like, as we were talking about earlier, the gold-plated, engine
S15,
bay, the S15. Like we're talking gold-plated, not someone took a spray can and painted it gold. We're talking gold-plated, 24 karat gold-plated. Unless they were lying in the bio, like where.
But those were just mental cars.
Yeah.
Though they were the cars that pulled crowds.
Yeah.
If there was a crowd there, it was because all it was for God of Auto Salon. That was the top prize. Start from January, go to all these different states, do your semi-finals, and then you have your final battle, and then God of Auto Salon. That was
Do you remember what the top prize for God of Auto Salon was? Apart from the trophy, the cash prize?
Was it like 25k or something?
It was 10.
10k.
Now, you, in all honesty,
10k pays nothing back. 10K pays everyone who worked on the car, to build a car for like 6 months. I assume that's what it went to.
Yeah.
We never won nothing.
We never won anything.
Yeah, we were all show, no go.
All show, no go.
Yep.
What do you think needs to? I mean, I hate relating it to our current time and date now, like our current events. Now, obviously, because of this whole pandemic type thing, like we can't even go out and buy stuff, and nothing too crazy. We can't have a meet because
all meets are cancelled.
All meets are cancelled and all that.
Looks like Hin might be cancelled at the end of the year, which is upsetting.
Yeah,
very upsetting.
Well, what do you think needs to happen? And let's broaden it. Let's say it's not just SEXSPEC. Let's say we want to bring back a very, very friendly, because that's number one. And before I go on with my rant, everyone was super friendly. Like, you did not have people showing off. It was kind of you appreciated the amount of effort.
Yeah, that's right.
As little or as much effort and money that people put in there. Obviously you had some people who just went, oh look, I've got a Ferrari and you've got a Lancer, but you were in the same showroom anyway. So, but look, I think it was fantastic. It was social. People did not hate on each other. In fact, it was a great way to meet new people.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Back when we had the car, I made a few friends through the car industry.
Yeah.
And that's how it was.
So the question I was going to ask you is, what do you think needs to happen in order to, we'll talk about SEXSPEC. We are talking about SEXSPEC. What needs to happen for people to want SEXSPEC back?
I just think it's a different generation. The older gen, like not old, but like your late 30s, late 40s, those people who did it 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Some of them still have their cars.
Yeah.
And you see some of them. There's a Facebook page.
SEXSPEC Memory Lane.
SEXSPEC Memory Lanes. All these people still have their cars, and if they're not registered in whatever, but they're tucked in the garage, still looking clean, as if it was, as if it had just been done. And that's.
Well, when are they gonna turn those keys, get those engines revving, and take them out on the road and show them off?
They slowly have. Some people slowly have.
When was the last time you saw a SEXSPEC car not digital, like in real life?
I think last year when we went to Hot Import Nights.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. At a car show.
At a car show. Yeah. But I mean, that's where you all see them now. Car meets, car shows. I dare say people don't want to drive them in public just because they are heavily modified, and
that's right. That will draw a lot of attention.
Heavily modified. So I think I think they're really good. It's nostalgia. I think that's what it is. There's another group on Facebook. I think it's like SEXSPEC nostalgias or 90s nostalgias, whatever it is. That Suzuki Swift that we saw.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That still had the 2006 Auto Salon sticker on it, and that thing was banging. Like, and that thing's paint was still fresh on that. Like, it's just a well kept car, and unfortunately, you get some people who just, after it's over, strip it. Strip it, like, and lose so much money from it when they sell it.
Do you still keep in contact with some of the?
Not really,
No?
Not really. But like some of the people that I met through cars didn't have like that God of Auto Salon status. They were there.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's I've met some people through car shows and that. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I think the other thing that I've been trying to figure out is SEXSPEC died like quite suddenly. Like there wasn't it wasn't like a tapering off. It didn't just slowly die. Like it went from 100% to literally maybe nothing.
The last one I remember, I think, was 2008.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one we competed in, and then after that, I think the whole thing just got cancelled.
Yeah.
You know.
And what do you think? It's just because of laws?
Yeah, it must be about that. But I do know that the lady who was in charge of Auto Salon, she's still involved in that car industry. She's actually one of the people for HIN. So like she hasn't left. But I think it was just how the culture was changing and you adapt to it. I think that's all it was. But
so they had to, let's say they had to evolve with the times.
Yeah, I'd say so. But I mean, I know when I go to a car show, I look for the tricked out old memory lane ones because they're the ones that I remember. I remember seeing when I was, early teen. You know? It's like 15 years ago. So yeah, just seeing all that stuff and going to every event, every Sydney event anyway, and then that was my first moment where I was like, I want my car here. That was a moment that I had.
Yeah.
It was like I saw it and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna build a car with some money.
Well, one thing that you mentioned earlier before, and I really loved it, is why people did what they did. No, and again, we are talking a lot about like a lot of money, and in some cases with inflation and all that. So 50K back then, today would be equivalent to probably 70. All right, but you mentioned something about it's not about the money. It's about
it was the joy and the passion and the experience. That's how it was. Like you see some cars looking there immaculate, and then you don't realize that the car was built in like 6 months. Funny enough, some of the cars that were there weren't even working.
What do you mean?
Yeah, weren't driving.
They weren't driving.
No.
Are you sure?
That's something that I.
Are we talking about fake intercoolers?
No. Like a long time ago, I remember Miss 2J, the Silver Supra. It wasn't working. There was an engine in it, but it wasn't running. But she still brought it to a show because it looked good. Like it was nice.
Yeah. Would you if we had to go, let's say, a bit deep and meaningful now, because you said it was a passion, it was something people wanted to do, right? Do you think that there's a link between people's passions for their cars and people's passions for their lives?
Oh yes.
And so in saying that, it's because we're no longer that passionate about cars to put in tens and thousands of dollars of money into it, that we're losing our own passion in our own lives. Do you think that's true?
Well, back then when people were building cars, you didn't find many, but some of them, they were tribute cars to people who influenced, someone passed away. Someone passed away. Yeah, it was like a tribute car. It was like the car that we never finished. Yeah. And unfortunately stuff happened, so they go and build a tribute car. I think back then it was purely the joy. I think that's just what it was. It was, you could get very creative. Like what you did was not wrong. Like, you were looked at differently, but it also made people unique.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was, from like airbrush in the engine bay, airbrush in the interior, the whole interior made out of fiberglass with the same airbrushing on the outside of the car.
Yeah, that's right.
It was, like you couldn't do nothing wrong. Again, people would judge it, but it still made sense to be, to be there.
I think if I was to, I'll take a page out of. There was a documentary before. It was about Eric Bana. Eric Bana was he was very, very much into cars and all that, you know. And he said something there about, you know, the car that people buy. There are, let's face it, there are some people who just love cars, right? And it's supposed to be a reflection of their personality. And it was almost like the amount of care, time and effort I put into my car is the same that I try to put into my own personal life, right? And that's why there are just some people who just don't get it, right? And I know you're watching, Dad. All right, but and I know we put you through hell, like we really, I know we really did. But the weird thing is, it's almost like he's on a 360, because now
he's
Dad,
got a cube. He wants to do it up.
He wants to do it up. He wants to put freaking stickers and decals, neon lights. So I mean, it's, you know, it's there really are just some people who are not into it. But again, on a deep and meaningful level, right? A car, yeah, sure, it's a machine and all that. But do you believe that? And it's a saying that's been said before. Do you believe that cars have souls?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know,
100%.
Like if you take care of your, like, I don't know if you know, you take care of your car, it just seems to
Takes care of you.
It takes care of you, right? And if you're mean, if you say something, if you put the wrong fuel, or I don't know, if you just, even if it's a little nick, you scratch it by accident, all of a sudden it kind of,
you got a bad day.
You have a bad day.
Yeah.
Where do you think this whole cars having souls come from? Because that's
I think for some people it's definitely an extension of your personality.
Yeah.
It's something where if you can't express by person, let me put it into a car. You know, and you know, some people, you know, I think that's why a lot of guys give their car name girl names. Right?
Explain.
I do.
Okay, explain. Explain. Yeah, go on.
Do.
Explain. You spend a lot of time with your car.
That's right. And to some people, you know, that is just, you know, I guess your other girl or your other partner.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And, you know, people make too many means that, you know, the car doesn't talk back and all that stuff. But
it does.
It truly is. Like, you know, like, again, my car, her name's Harley. You know,
and she's beautiful.
I give names for all cars I've had.
Yeah.
Cherry, if you're out there. Too soon.
Too soon.
You know, but I think that's just how it is. Like it's definitely, to some people there's definitely an emotional attachment to cars, and I think that just comes back to how you got into cars, who put you in that position to be passionate about cars, like who introduced you, you know, like those people.
Yeah.
Those people are definitely those reasons why, you know, you name cars.
Well, what do you say to people out there who think spending that amount of money on a car is stupid, to say the least? Like, what do you tell them?
So I'm 31.
Yeah.
All right. The 19-year-old in me would have said, "Do it."
Yeah.
Do it.
Just do it.
Before YOLO was even a thing, just do it.
Yeah.
Now the 31-year-old in me is like, make it subtle, but still.
Fuel's expensive.
No, not that. Just if you're gonna mod your car, make it subtle.
Yeah.
Make it legal, but still make it you. But
make it you.
12 years ago, me. Don't see the car for 2 months. The car comes back. New kit, new wheels, new interior, new paint, new sound system.
That's right. Can't forget the
That's
sound.
what it was.
Yeah.
That's all it was for me.
For me, I think, look, big picture, and we always talk about here, like towards the end, like the big picture for me is, and you mentioned the word several times, is passion, right? And that's why I would love to see SEXSPEC back.
Hell yeah!
All right,
yeah.
because not only will you see people care about other things other than the shit that's going on in the world. Okay, it was almost like a distraction if you think about it, right? But they were putting their money towards let's say not bad things. That I guess that's one thing. Mum and dad are always kind of proud with us. He goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you don't do drugs." It's like, well, we couldn't because all the money went
to the cars.
All the money went to the cars.
My social life was going on cruises.
That's it.
Right. I never went out clubbing. I never went out drinking just because I had no money.
That's it.
Because it was like, you need petrol to get to work. And that's what it was.
That's it.
But, those times that we did go out and go for a cruise, I was always the slowest one. That's a different story. That's what it was. That's how it starts. And I still feel like that happens now to new P-platers. Obviously, the restrictions back then for us was different to what they have now. But, they can still go out on cruises. They can go on mini meets, Any Macca's, KFC... Red Rooster,
Red Rooster,
Krispy Kreme car meets. That's all it is. Any place that has a parking spot, you can go meet. You can go meet with people. So that culture has not died. I think the culture has just changed.
Luckily, we do have some very, very good ambassadors still for the cars. I mean, look, if you're into cars, you're probably following Mighty Car Mods.
Yeah.
Right. And they're consistently just
massive. Yeah,
they are massive in Australia. They're massive overseas as well. And I can tell that those blokes, their passion for cars has not died. At all.
It's just different. It's just a different look on the car, but the passion for cars is definitely still there.
Where do you think people have turned their passion into now? Like, what are they instead of cars? What's the passion now?
What, the people who were into cars?
No, like let's say a 19-year-old you back in the day was into cars. What's a 19-year-old passionate about now? Truthfully,
getting big at the gym. I don't know.
Okay.
It's different. Like they're still into cars again, but the way people do up cars is just very minimal now. It's very different.
Yeah.
If you get it, all it is now slammed and put big wheels and stretch your tires. That's all it is. If you got a bit of extra money, you bag it.
Yeah.
If you have a little bit more extra money in that, you've got like a more luxury. P-platers with those Golf GTIs. That's all it is now.
Yeah.
It's, let me put myself in 40 grand debt. I have a fuckboy car.
A fuckboy car.
You get it tuned, it pops, it crackles. That is like the standard for any P-plater right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's all it is.
That's it. Well, you know what? It was beautiful to
take a trip back down memory lane.
Take a trip back
for sure. We're going to be looking at photos after this and trying to find photos of our old cars. If we find any, put it up on the video right at the end. Make a little sludeshow.
No judgment. Huh?
No judgment.
No judgment.
Yeah.
The crowd.
Not just our cars, but everyone, all these other cars out there. And again, for any of the old school SEXSPEC people listening, man, like, we need it back. Like, SEXSPEC is...
We need it.
SEXSPEC will come back, It's just like anything and everything that was old and is going to come back,
I hope you're right. I'm telling you, I hope you're right. I do want it back.
Yeah, same.
Seriously. We need to...
if I win the lotto, I'm going to spend a buckload and build a car. I don't know. Just because.
Just because. Is there anything that you want to tell Dad? Because we know he watches.
Yeah, Dad, I'm going to put an exhaust on the new car. Bye.
And he's gone. See ya, fam.